Ahoy toy, welcome to Transfixed, the channel that can shoulder a lot of stress. Okay, those puns don't make sense yet. Let me give you some context. Tonight we're taking a look at the MechFansToys Crane, the green version. Now this is based on Magic Square design. The Magic Square version was Architect, which is grapple of course. And then MechFansToys did what they often do with these Legends-sized figures, and they improved it, made it a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Except for this one problem. I'm going to show you how to transform it without snapping the arm off, hopefully. Because that's what happened to me the first time I transformed it. But partly due to design, partly due to my own carelessness, partly due to the instructions not being very descriptive. It comes in this box. Usually they come in like a cardboard box with some art, but this came in just a, I think this is plastic actually. It looks like, you know, I'm not sure what this material is. I think it's cardboard with a plastic coating on it, and it has this shiny sticker on it that says MechFansToys, and something else, but I don't read Portuguese, so I don't know what that says. And yeah, it's just a white empty box, and it has a clamshell with accessories. All the same stuff that comes with the Masterpiece version. In fact, let's just take a quick look. This is truly a mini Masterpiece. Definitely designed on the Masterpiece. Look at the face. The face sculpt is very handsome. It even has the lines down the cheeks. And the same accessories. He's got this piece. Just in one color, but that's fine. He's got his little hose attachment. Now I believe what they've done here is they've included Grapple's gun and Inferno's gun. Because that's Inferno's gun right there. And there's Grapple's gun. And I don't know why I was showing the wrong face before. Here's Grapple right here. Why did I even get Inferno off the shelf? I don't know. And here he is with G1 Inferno. I do have Grapple, but I'll save him for the vehicle mode. And he also comes with the same little screwdriver accessory. Comes with the same bucket. And the claw. The claw! Which is articulated. So we'll attach these when we get him into vehicle mode. And to get him into vehicle mode, we are going to be very careful. So he's a great little figure. Yes, what he's supposed to be, if you're not aware, is HAULER, I suppose. So in the first episode of Transformers, there was what's widely agreed to be just an error in the naming. Because we saw Grapple pictured in this one scene, and he was referred to by Optimus Prime as HAULER.
HAULER! Pull him up!
But on screen they called him HAULER, and it's pretty much agreed that that was just because they hadn't really hashed out the names yet. And he wasn't supposed to appear yet because he was a Season 2 Autobot, but he showed up early before they'd settled on the name Grapple, and HAULER was probably a prototype name. But in the fiction, of course, we decided, well, that's not going to do. He is going to be a former Constructicon. We'll retcon him into be one of these extra Constructicons that appeared in this other episode. So I'm not sure if I should slap a Decepticon symbol on him, but I think I will, because when the toy was done by Takara, when they made their e-hobby version, they made him green, so that they could give us the character without being just a Grapple with a different name. So that's where this character comes from. Now I had the Ocular Max Masterpiece version, but I sold it because when I saw this guy, he went out for pre-order, because for a small character like that, I'm happy with the little one. But I think he's sold out now. If you're looking for him, I hope you find him. I got mine from TF Direct, but I believe he's sold out there now. Anyway, as promised, let's go to the transformation. Now the instructions start off promisingly enough. These are of course Grapple's instructions. These are, what this is telling you to do is slide the calves up, and then the rest of this is straightforward. Plug it in, do this, do that. There's an error here. It's telling you to put these shoulder bits down, and then if you look here, now they're back up again. The reason being is because these are already down in robot mode. This part is a bit complicated. It's telling you, you actually need to pull this waist down and put it in. I'll show you that. And then this is where I ran into trouble. It doesn't even talk about linking the shoulders into those tabs. That's where I broke it. It's not really mentioned here, but there's the tab. The shoulder is hooked onto there, but you hook it there for vehicle mode. So let's get into it. I'll show you what happened. All right, so yeah, he shipped in robot mode. The neck joint is a little bit loose. You'll find he turns from side to side without you actually doing anything to it. But the rest of it is actually good quality and solid, a little bit tight. Okay, so you can take the hands off or leave them on. You need to slide this forearm down over the hand like that. And I guess we'll do the same over here. Cover up the hand. By the way, MechFansToys also made some other improvements, like these sirens. These are added on to the MechFansToys version. The paint is added on, I believe. The wheels, for example, these are nicely detailed and painted. And the windshield, we need to untab this part, the shoulder, from the window there, so that will loosen up this. Do the same over here. Let me get my spudger. Okay. All right, so once that's loosened off, you can take this whole assembly here. You can see there's a tab on here that goes into the bottom of the neck, and then this whole piece is collapsed in. This is kind of like the masterpiece as well. I mean, well, in the masterpiece, the whole crane goes in there, but this whole assembly can be squished up, collapsed in there. So this falls back. Now you can bring these up, not down, and then this panel here will come up. See, there's a tab in here that'll be important soon. Let's work on the legs though. So for the legs, you want to also slide the calves up, just like you did with the arms down. Let's put them all the way up. And then in here, there's a little gray part, which is the pylon, the struts. Those fold out. And then you just put these, put the feet back. Get that up out of the way. Now this whole part here, you can put this, you can tab this together, and then the feet kind of link together with this sort of trapezoid bit here. That has to slide down. Okay, now this is the part where we work on the waist. Also check these. These wheels, they kind of just go back and forth on their own, but they're supposed to be back in robot mode. There's no really reason to. Yeah, they just kind of move back and forth, but they're supposed to be forward for the vehicle mode, of course. Now what you want to do here is kind of pull this down. There seems to be a joint in here where this whole gray part slides up and down. So you pull it down a little bit, tilt this back, and then what you can do now is push it forward so that that gray tab goes into this little green part here. So there's here tabs in there. All right, so that keeps that secure, and now we can put the arms back where they're supposed to. So yeah, this should be turned around, by the way, and we'll straighten this up. There's two joints here for the crane. All right, now this part here, these go around, but now for the arms, so this is on kind of a stiff ball joint. We need to rotate this back like that. Now the thing that caused me a problem here is that this shoulder is supposed to go into this little tab. Now what I recommend is filing down these tabs with some sandpaper or a metal file. You could probably even just cut them right off if you wanted to, because what happens is you've got to get this into place here, and it just, see, it has to come up and hook over the top of it without messing up this ball joint. So this is where we get into trouble. Now if you hold this really securely like this, you can probably just do it, and this really makes me nervous. Okay, there we are. So see, now if we straighten it out, it'll tab into place. I just don't think it's necessary at all though. And then you would do the same on the other side if I hadn't snapped it off, and then these close together. You can see one is longer than the other, and then this flattens out here. Now the thing is, this tabs into the feet, and then the arm, there's also a notch here where that tabs onto here. So that's secure enough, I should think, without this having to connect right there. I don't really think that's necessary. So for this one that's snapped off, we'll just tab it right on here, and if that weren't there, it would just go where it's supposed to. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Now we can put this down. Now I think if you wanted to raise this, you would use this joint here, but it also elevates on here. And yeah, that's our little green hauler. It's quite good though, other than that flaw. So let's check out his alt mode. This is a very tight click in here. If you want to pull it out, it'll pull out and then snap into place, and then to put it back, click it back, and then that's a tight click there. I've done it a few times to loosen it up. Oh my goodness, this thing. It's just, oh boy. Okay, I carefully pushed that back into place. And then if you want to switch the attachments, this just slides out, this little hook piece here. And yeah, you can attach the bucket. I'm not sure when you'd use this really, because you can't get it down into the ground to dig dirt, so I don't know why that's there. I've never seen that. That's usually a backhoe attachment. The claw, I suppose, makes sense. So that can go on there, and yes, it pivots a bit. So you could pick things up, and this is what he's pictured with in the cartoon. One hinge on each claw. And here he is with the G1 grapple. So let's change it back. So this whole piece can get freed up from the feet up. Okay, now here's our hard part again. Now, I think the way to do this is just to, again, put your thumb here, your finger here, just hold this tight. And I'm sorry if this isn't new. If you guys are familiar with the magic square, you might already be aware of this, but just carefully. See, you can only lift up that far, and then what do? It's got to have some flex and some give, I suppose. See, it's bending. It's just... Okay, there we go. This is the edge we really need to file down, this top part. So I'm going to cut that down with a knife. If you're rotating this, because it's tight, hold on to this flat piece. Hold on to this while you rotate. Don't just pull this around or it's going to snap right off. There, it's back in robot mode. That's what I like about these figures. They're easy to transform. So yeah, if this were here, it doesn't really hinder anything. It kind of hits the leg a little bit, but not much. So yeah, if you kick it back, it's really not even necessary, I think. But he has a lot of posability. Arms are 90 degrees. The ball joint here, it gets pretty good range. I just wish they didn't do that. And then he can do this. About that far. And great color. You know, the funny thing is, I was driving home with this guy, because I just got him today. And he was delivered to my work, and I was driving home, and I was behind a car that was the exact same color. So that was kind of fun. All right, so you know what? Let's fix this problem. Somebody online suggested I pin it, and yeah, why not? Why not pin it? I was going to just glue this arm back on. Pinning it involves getting a piece of wire or a pin to reinforce it. So I have this paper clip. I'm going to have to make a very tiny hole because this is tiny parts. Lucky for me, I have some very tiny equipment. Wait, that didn't sound right. So I've got these, I think these are 0.25 millimeter drill bits. You can use these in a Dremel if you have a Dremel rotary tool. So that's what I did. I drilled a little hole in the peg. I also put some Toolbox Buddy oil into the socket to make the ball joint rotate a little bit easier. And then drill the hole in there. So now that I've got that, I'll just put this in here. That should help a little bit. Let's get that in all the way. Okay, good. So now we've got a pin, and it's going to be pretty short because it just has to go through that little piece of plastic. So we'll get our wire cutters, and we'll just cut this to be about... Well, we can always take off more. Let's put it there. All right. Let's clean that off a bit. Now I think I've got this lined up the way it broke. I think that should be... Or did I have it this way? No, it was this way, wasn't it? Because I was transforming it. Yeah, that works pretty well. All right, so now I'm just going to put some super glue. This is the best super glue. This cyanoacrylate glue. The super gold doesn't cause any clouding. Usually it's not a problem on opaque plastic like this. If you want clear plastic, you definitely want the gold stuff. Costs a bit more. Ooh, that's too much. But it's worth it. All right, so I dabbed off the excess, and we'll just pin that right back in place. Cool. And we'll get a little clamp. Now, if I were smart, I would have positioned this the way I wanted it first, but I'm not, so... Okay, that should hold it. Okay, we'll check on him in a bit. Okay, that glue's been curing for a couple of hours, and the patient has made a nice recovery. I was able to even rotate the shoulder after the glue has set there. I just, of course, want to, again, be careful. Hold both pieces while moving them, and the oil in there really helps. So I do have a moving joint, and I should be able to transform him again with no problem. I also put another drop of Toolbox Buddy oil into this shoulder because this is quite tight, and I just don't want to put any stress on that peg. So now that one moves nicely. And then the neck, as I mentioned, it was a bit loose, so I just put a bit of the Future floor polish onto a Q-tip, turn the head around backwards so I don't get it on his face, and just dab it into that crease there, and then rotate the head a few times to work it in, and that's nice and secure now as well. So I'll peg him in here. Now next time I transform that, I'm going to make sure I use the spudger right away. I'm not going to be pulling on this or putting any stress on it. And the tabs, yeah, so to make it easier to transform, I just took a X-Acto knife here, hobby knife, and just cut down. You can see I've already done it on this side. Just cut down this surface and the corners, like the sides, right? So just do a little bit of shaving here on this side as well. Being careful to always cut towards yourself so to maximize damage if you slip. And end the suffering. Okay, so that, let me see if I can transform this for you. That should now peg on here more easily, just like that. There we go. So now it just slides back on there. You still get that secure connection, and don't put any stress on the joint. Just take another slice off of here. Yeah, this plastic is firm, but it cuts easily, so that's good. All right, so now these back together. Just want to show you the accessories because I didn't show the gun before, and we'll just pop this hand off and give him his nozzle, just so you can see what that looks like. Yeah, pretty happy with that. I did contact TF Direct to see if there's anything they can do for me. I'm not sure if I expect much. I mean, it's kind of my fault for breaking the toy, right? It didn't come damaged, but you know, if they can't do anything, I figured it's worth asking. So quick update. TF Direct got back to me. They were kind enough to check with the supplier, but the supplier told them, quote, "They said this kind of defect should be mishandled / rough play during." So I suppose what that means is they are saying it's my fault. I mishandled the toy, which I suppose is fair. And the replacement part was available, though, if I paid $10. And the replacement part is actually the whole upper half of the robot. Yeah, I went ahead and ordered it just in case. I don't know. I'm happy with my fix, but the figure is sold out, so I might as well have a proper, complete one. And yeah, despite the break, I do recommend this. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it looks great. Yeah, I highly recommend the MechFansToys. If you're collecting Legends Plus scale, this would be the mold to get for your Grapple and Inferno as well. I definitely think it's the best. So yeah, despite the break, I think it's a great toy, just as long as you're careful with it. So thanks for watching. Good night.
The Claw is our master. Claw chooses who will go and who will stay.
This is ludicrous.